Hey guys, welcome to the Big Blue United podcast. My name is TJ. I am here with Dan and Colin. What's going on tonight, fellas? Good to be back, by the way, for my hiatus.
Yeah. Good to have
you
you
feel
back.
mentally regrouped and centered.
I'm here to go. Yeah,
just
I'm ready.
The three of us.
Yeah, we can make it if we try.
Yeah. Good.
3 guys, 1 pod.
Things are good. Free agency starts this week, so we got some probably the most least exciting time of our Giant fandom lives. So that's cool. But we all know, so it's not going to be a big surprise that we're hardly going to sign anybody. So
yeah, all I know is I would like to illegally tamper with you, Colin, whatever that means.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter, and I didn't look too much into it. And everybody does it, I think, every single year, and it's like it's all going to continue. So why does everyone freak out about it so much?
Oh, but did I say illegally tamper? I think it's legal tamper. Whatever.
Whatever.
I don't know. Dan, what's going on?
Nothing. A lot of football stuff and a lot of work makes Dan a dull boy.
Yeah.
My brain is everywhere. But I babysat this weekend. Both boys solo, which was very hard, but it was a triumph. They survived. But I had some hours to myself, and I'll have you know, TJ, I am almost beating Dark Souls 1. It's been 5 years in the making. This is I'll let you guys know when I finish it. When you play for like a half hour once a week, it takes a long time to beat like an 80-hour video game.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say you got Elden Ring. We're putting some hours into that.
I don't have a system that can run it. So
oh yeah, me neither.
Well, what is it on? Like, what is everyone playing it on? Is it
PS5 or the? I forget what the new Xbox
Xbox
even called. Xbox Series. I don't know. It's just stupid.
And then like PC as well.
I just run the gamut of starting over Red Dead Redemption 2 or Assassin's Creed, as you know, and just realize that all the games that I play are 80-hour games. So like, yeah, I get a half hour once a month, and I start getting guilt tripped about it, and I got to go do yard work instead.
This Steph come in, she's like, "Stop playing those games and go rake some leaves."
Yeah, no,
we can cut some firewood.
Yeah, no. I don't know. There's just not been a moment to do anything like that. So I have this beautiful TV right in this room. It's entirely too big for this room, and I just want to play video games, and I don't know.
Instead, you're here talking to us about a really boring Giants free agency period.
No, I'd rather boring than god-awful Getty Goods.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad Dave Gettleman has apparently moved down to Duval to help with the Jaguars this offseason.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a little bit. Guys, as usual, please follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow BBU Pod Boys with a Z on Twitter. That's our direct Twitter. Follow the Pigskin Podcast Network at the Pigskin Podnet. Download that DraftKings app. Don't forget to use promo code TPPN when you sign up. And our sponsor this week is Purple Carrot. And Purple Carrot is a subscription-based plant meal program that provides both ready-to-made meals as well as pre-prepared ones. Colin, you got the package from Purple Carrot. Tell us about it.
Well, what's really, I mean, right off the bat, all these companies that kind of do this kind of thing where they send you a box of food, it's incredibly convenient because just, I don't know, between Steph and I's jobs, it's just, I don't know, it's hard to have the time to have not only a good meal, but like a different meal week to week. And what's cool about this company is that they send you something different every week, and they give you like a rundown of what it's all going to be. And it's all different. I mean, we got this, my favorite thing was this Japanese gnocchi with a carrot shallot sauce kind of marinade. And it was like nothing I've ever had before. And it's all super, organic and healthy. And it's mostly vegetarian type stuff. I loved it. It was delicious. And I certainly would do it again. I would recommend it to anybody who doesn't have any time to meal prep. That's for sure.
Healthy food as well.
Yeah.
Well, Colin, yeah, guys.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Dan.
What do you do?
I was saying, if you really cared about meal prep, you take some time out on Sundays and make like 30 chicken cutlets and prep your arugula and meal plan. So you get your vitals and your what is that calling? The counting like meta carb stats or whatever those CrossFit people do. That's what you should be doing.
No. I will not be that. I don't have the time for that.
No,
Just tell me it's healthy, and we'll start from there.
He doesn't even have the time to cook his own food, Dan. And now you're asking him to, count carbs and stuff.
I mean, you got to make the time. What time do you get up in the morning? Mark Wahlberg gets up at 2:30 in the morning every day.
Oh, have we? I feel like we've talked about this. He works out like 3 times before 6 a.m.
You can make a lot of meals if you're getting up at 2 a.m.
But what a burger. Wahlburger, what a burger, whatever they're called. I don't even know what they're called. Oh, that stupid company and those dumb brothers. Actually, I like Donnie. Donnie's a good actor. I think Mark.
This sounds like the ramblings of like a bunch of guys with Alzheimer's right now. Just stream of consciousness.
Can I just finish? Can we just finish this up real quick?
No,
check out purplecarrot.com for your vegetarian meal prep needs and meal kits, guys. Purplecarrot.com.
I bet Marky Mark uses it.
Oh yeah. I have to like cut every week. I cut like this segment and send it to the sponsor so they can see it, and they're gonna be like, why are they talking about CrossFit and chicken cutlets on our plant-based meal subscription service ad? Well, that's what you get when you sponsor the Big Blue United podcast, friends. Just remember that, everyone listening. You never know what you're going to get.
Personalization.
That's right.
You're never going to get that copy anywhere else.
Are we robots? No.
No. I mean, we didn't write any copy. I don't write anything down.
No.
That's not true. I usually write a lot of things down. Let's start with the best news of the week. I know everyone's thrilled about it. Your boy, Tampa Tom, is back for, I don't know, is it his 24th year, 23rd year? I don't care. All I have written in my notes under Tom Brady is F you. Go away. Please go away. And you gave us like a hint of like hope, like we could move on from this era in the NFL into the future. But no, he has unfinished business. He has 7 Super Bowl rings and every record that will never be broken, but he has unfinished business. What? Just shut up. Leave me alone.
So my biggest question here is it he who hates his family, or is it his family who hates him, the reason why he's playing again this year?
You just tell Giselle, let's go a couple too many times.
Yeah, I think he just screams it in his house when he wakes up in the morning, and she's just like, you got to get the hell out of here.
Egg whites, let's go.
You know what I saw was that LeBron James had texted him because LeBron had 2 50-point games, and he said, I'm still doing it at the top of my game at this age. You should go back. And then Tom's like, well, I'm going to go back to the NFL.
Thanks,
Great.
LeBron.
Yeah. You know what? I know a lot of people hate LeBron James. I was never a LeBron James hater, but I might be now.
So
Jordan's way better. Yeah.
Yeah. And in college, we loved him. I mean, I had a Neckbeard Chin-Strap because of LeBron in 2006-ish, 2007.
I thought that was LeVar.
No. It was all LeBron.
Because it was Freeway.
Yeah, I wasn't inspired by Freeway, unfortunately.
You have been in other parts of your life, so I'm confused now.
I have?
No, it's a joke.
Okay. No, it's the blue Powerade.
The blue Powerade, LeBron James blue Powerade. Yeah, drink it every morning when you're hungover in college.
That's what did it.
That was good. What else you guys want to talk about? I mean, we could talk about the Giants free agency. There's a couple things to do. Obviously, it's not a very exciting period, but the one other thing I wanted to talk about before that was Evan Ingram signed to the Jaguars, $9 million, 1 year, fully guaranteed, incentives up to $10 million. What are the Jaguars doing today with fully guaranteeing a guy who has played 1 full season in his whole career and has never really had a good year per se, other than potentially his rookie year? And then that Charlie Kirk deal was one of the more interesting things. Did I say Charlie Kirk? I kept Googling. I said it's Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk is that like insufferable, flat-faced right-wing dude, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Christian Kirk, I'm really sorry about that. That deal was interesting, too.
It's a huge deal.
Did you see that? He's the 3rd highest paid wide receiver in the NFL now.
Yeah.
Huge deal.
I don't really understand that. What do they see in him that nobody sees in him?
I don't know. He seems to be, a promising wide receiver, but one that isn't the rarest of commodities. I feel like there's a lot of guys his size and speed, maybe more of a slot wide receiver type, particularly in this draft. And they have LaVisca Chenault, which is like overlaying sort of skill sets where Chenault, I still think has a lot of potential. So the Christian Kirk signing is sort of crazy. But I think the Evan Ingram one might make a little more sense than people think for the Jags. Not that this is a Jags podcast, but Doug Peterson is the head coach now. And he did a lot with those tight ends in Philadelphia. Just having two pass catching tight ends could be interesting and definitely a way to bolster a young quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know. I could see Evan Ingram having like a decent season if he learns to catch.
Are you sure he didn't pay the Jags $9 million to join their team?
I think a city like Jacksonville is the kind of place for Ingram, sort of like a anything goes kind of place with no real stakes. He can really just be a king of a town like that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah. Well, that's a perfect place for him because he's the perfect person to not be able to deal with the New York media, and that's what happened. So he can go there and hide.
Remember, was it Aaron Ross who got signed down there, and he was like, "Yeah, it's a nice 2-year vacation I took down there."
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to say that Christian Kirk makes more money than Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, and Stephon Diggs. All right.
No.
Giants free agency, guys. Let's just talk quick about, I think, in the last week, Martinez and Shepard had restructured their deals. There's been a few cuts in Caden Smith, Riley Dixon, Rudolph and Booker we are already aware of. I just kind of wanted to ask you guys, what are your initial thoughts on what the Giants have done to shore up some cap space so far, Dan?
I think so far so good. The Shepard Martinez re-signings made a lot of sense in that they're probably gonna have to eat a lot of that anyway, and they're keeping them known quantities, though injured on the team is useful. Losing Caden Smith is sort of funny because we also lost Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah.
Two guys that they sort of pushed ahead of Caden Smith no matter how well he produced anytime he was given a chance. So, I mean, not a huge loss, but it was like one of those things I feel like a lot of Giants fans are like, we never gave that guy a shot. And he probably would have been super cheap.
Yeah.
But it remains to be seen if we're going to hit that $40 million mark. I think it all is dependent on if we get rid of James Bradbury, which I know is something that they're still trying to do. A lot of people think Shane might have played his hand too early by sort of outwardly stating to the world his target market cap, and other teams are playing for just taking on that contract and not giving away draft equity. But Bradbury may go. There's a lot of rumors all of a sudden that Saquon may go, which you're going to hear an argument from me. If you get rid of either of those guys and get anything in the draft back or in future drafts back as far as picks, I'd be pretty stoked.
Yeah, and not for nothing too. Not looking ahead at the draft, but this is an incredibly deep tight end draft. So that's clearly what's between making some money back and the inevitable influx of talent that's going to be coming in. I mean, I read somewhere that it can go as deep as the 5th round. I think I may have mentioned last week of a starter at tight end, depending on who drops or what have you. So, I mean, this is unlike any other offseason that we've probably ever seen in our fandom in our entire life. Is right
because
now.
We have competent GM or
well, the fact that we have zero money at all with competent guys dealing with it.
I was going to say it was more the last GM that put you in this position where you're sitting.
Absolutely. But I think the magic hopefully we'll be able to see the magic being worked with both feet shot straight through.
The Gettleman thing is so hilarious, man. He went on a spending spree like the last 3 years and just like hightails it out of here with his like send off. It's just the perfect boomer thing, They just suck all that pension money, suck all that Social Security out right before it's our chance to reap the benefits.
Yep.
We're the Joe Shane of generations here, guys. So at least we got to support our dude.
My generation.
I mean, the ages are close enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Gettleman's like my dad's age. Joe Shane's a couple years older than we are.
Gettleman hates computers. Or dad hates computers. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Does Gettleman love Jesus?
Well, he's born again.
Oh,
yeah.
He was.
Wow.
He was born Jewish and transferred over.
Wow, him and my dad do have a lot of things in common.
Tightly held convictions that clearly.
At least, except I'm assuming that Dave Gettleman can pronounce Tom Coughlin's last name.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I might be getting ahead of myself here.
With that Boston accent, I bet he butchers it pretty good.
Yeah.
Coughlin.
All right, guys. College basketball fans, join the action on court during the biggest tournament of the year with DraftKings Sportsbook. Teams turn your team's victory into your own big win. New customers can bet $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they do. It's that simple. If they win, you win. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still join the college hoops action with DraftKings pools. Everyone can play free pools all March long for a shot at a share of over $250,000 in prizes. Simply join a pool and ask questions like, who will make it to the next round and who will hit the most three-pointers? Then track your results. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Bet $5 on any college hoops team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If they win, you win with promo code TPPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 plus restrictions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling or referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-462-2537. Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Wyoming. 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, New Hampshire. 888-789-777/visit http://ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-877-770-STOP. That's 7867 in Louisiana. 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. 467-369 in New York. Visit opgr.org in Oregon. I'm sorry, this is crazy. Call or text the TN Red Line, 1-800-889-9787 in Tennessee or 1-888-532-3500 in Virginia. 21 plus, 18 plus in New Hampshire, Wyoming. Physically present in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Michigan, New Hampshire, New York, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Only a minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Woo!
So my question is every single week a new state getting their gambling license up? Is that what's happening right now?
The DraftKings legal team is just running behind, and they're just updating disclaimers as fast as they can.
Yeah. So I'm just reading this now that I didn't actually have to read that whole thing. I just have to post it in the description of the show and say,
nice.
See show notes for details.
Nice.
But here we are, guys. We did it. We did
personal
it.
touch.
We won't do it again. Yeah, they do say to riff on it. So that was my riff.
Oh, you riffed on it.
Was telling everyone where to get your gambling resources.
This was the stairway to heaven of DraftKings reads.
This is because this is the United podcast. We're not going to leave out any states. We're united in the Giants as well as the United States of America. TJ, you got to get that that infomercial voice down where it's like void where prohibited, CODs tax.
I'm trying to talk as fast as I can. It's hard though. I was like fumbling over my words. And then you get to something like eligibility and you try to say that quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a tenuous grasp on the English language as it is. I
will say though, if you guys are looking at a tasty March Madness game, to check out the 13 versus the 4 seed, the University of Vermont Catamounts versus the Arkansas Razorbacks. Tasty upset, maybe if you just take a look.
I hope so. I hope so for your sake, Daniel.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be the biggest upset in Vermont history. Everyone remembers the most famous college basketball game of all time in 2005 when UVM upset Syracuse with Taylor Coppenrath and TJ Sorrentine, some of the most famous college basketball players that ever lived.
I actually do remember that game happening.
See?
You know why? Because I was playing at Club Crannel.
Ooh.
With
La Cosa Nostra.
Yeah. And it was on TV when we were loading in, and I don't know why it sticks in my head. And I was just like, oh, Dan must be having a good time.
I was. Yeah. I was hanging out with a friend of the podcast, Mike, at his parents' apartment. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah. I usually always pick is it 15 or no? What'd you say?
16?
What is the one that always is the biggest upset?
16 was first seed.
No,
I guess now
there's a 10 and a 5, or usually the 10 beats the 5 more than the 5 beats the 10. Either way, I usually don't do that seed though, but I do love me some upsets in the bracket.
Yeah.
Zoniata, did they make it to the dance?
No, they're in Division 3, and that's not happening.
I thought they were like all right when we went there for 1 year at least.
I think 1 year they were good.
Who's their rival?
Portland.
Yeah.
SUNY Cortland. And they had the same name. 2 Red Dragons. Yeah. So stupid.
2 SUNY schools with the same mascot.
Yeah, they couldn't figure out how to be unique, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Unique New York.
So we talked about some of the cuts and the restructuring. I know we talked about Saquon and Bradbury. So, I mean, do you guys see anybody else that you think is going to be gone sooner than later in the next few days? I mean, obviously, it's a free agency is kind of like a blitz. So, Colin, what do you think?
You mean of worth? I mean, there's going to be like a dropping of the lower end of the roster, big time, I would imagine.
Sure. I mean, do you envision a trade with Logan Ryan leaving this place? I mean, I think we can see that Bradbury and Saquon do have some value for some draft pick. Logan Ryan's contract, I feel like you're going to be giving a pick away, like an NBA style deal. I know we spoke about Ian when he was on. Otherwise, I can't see any place where he gets off this roster, and that seems to be where you're going to get the majority of that cash that you need left up.
Yeah,
it's a tough one for Shane to kind of do. With Bradbury, for me, I feel like we saw J.C. Jackson get signed. We saw who did the Bucks sign today? Was it Cedric Wilson to the Bucks? I think that you might see a market develop more for Bradbury. I don't think a 3rd-round pick is what people have been saying is really what will happen. I think it might be a little later. Dan made a really good point before that, kind of telling everyone you needed this space, and then having a glaring guy in your roster that would be easy to cut or get rid of potentially to free up that space. Guys might not be willing to send you what you want for him. But I think once that market cools down in free agency, I think there's going to be a team left out, and I think that'll be a team that'll pull the trigger on Bradbury.
Yeah, I can see that later on.
It was Carlton Davis that signed with Tampa Bay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cedric Wilson's a wide receiver.
Oh, excuse me.
Which is also an interesting signing, but that's a big contract for Carlton Davis. 3 years, $45 million.
I mean, that shows you what the market looks like. So, I mean, maybe Bradbury's contract isn't so insane for someone to take on for a 5th-round pick. Yeah, I think third is probably out of the question at this point. But
what do we end up? What's the dead money if we just cut Logan Ryan?
All of it. Like $800,000. Oh no, all of it. We save like $800,000.
Yeah, there's like no point in cutting him.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're not bringing Jabril Peppers back. You have McKinney and Love. I mean, I don't think Ryan doesn't have a place on this team necessarily, but for that amount of money, you want to move on and maybe look to the draft for something else. I think that's the plan, really, altogether. I kind of wanted to ask you guys, too, like, the Giants can't really make any moves in free agency, right? So do you think it's more likely that Shane is going to probably try to trade back in one of those picks? Or do you think that has – yeah, okay.
I think even more so. You can't spend the money elsewhere. You might as well just stockpile. And that might mean, much to our chagrin, that might be stockpiling for next year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah, it is, because I think that realistically you're going to see this organization and this staff treat this year as what can we identify as youth to use going forward and to keep and retain and develop, and then look to next year for clearing up even more space and actually begin to spend some money again.
Yeah,
if it's as soon as next year.
Yeah, no, next year we'll be in much better position, and especially if we don't make a huge splash now or tie up money long term with any impending, moves. Then, Shane and Dable will really have, everything at their fingertips to play with for completing the team next year if they're able to find some pieces this year. Are we not talking about the big signing that we're probably going to make?
Oh, whoa,
Mark Lewinski.
Oh, yeah.
Our guard.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we didn't. I was going to get to kind of the additions after we spoke.
So we're talking about no. Let's.
We can move on, bro. If you want to talk about Glowinski, I'll talk Glowinski all day.
Let's talk Glowinski because I don't know what else. We don't know anything else about people we're going to get rid of. We can just keep guessing. But
I like to speculate. I'm a gambler.
Yeah.
Not really.
Riverboat.
So Mark Glowinski, former guard from Colts, 3 years, $20 million, $11.4 million guaranteed. I think this is probably the biggest move the Giants are going to make this offseason, as exciting as it is. if you just, look at this guy. We see what Jonathan Taylor can do. He played on that line. 2 sacks, 2 penalties allowed in 16 games last year. 29 years old. The contract is fine. We need interior linemen. What are you guys' feelings on this?
He's very unremarkable, which is totally okay. I have no problem with it. Just taking a quick glance at his Wikipedia, it's like 3 paragraphs and there's nothing to it. And it's, whatever. He doesn't get really injured. He's lost some jobs here and there. He's gained them back. He seems to be like one of those typical stopgap. Let's just try to mend this line a little bit this year and see, throw some mud against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, he seems to me to be a solid, starting guard in the NFL. Not, much above or below the line. I think he was 1 spot better than Will Hernandez in PFF pass block rating.
Oh, good.
But 11th in run block, win rate, and 21st ranked guard for 2021. So that is light years ahead of anyone we had playing guard for us last year. So if he stays healthy and is able to start 16 games, I think that's huge for a contract like that, and for an offensive line that has 1.5 starters currently. Yeah. It'd be nice to have 2.
Well, you don't think Matt Gono is the answer?
He might be. That'd be great.
I was doing some reading on him today, just out of curiosity. He's never played a snap in the NFL, but he's been in the NFL for 4 years.
So what? He's been Mr. Practice Squad guy? Like
he was a practice squad. He was active for 1 game his rookie year, and then he got hurt, and then he didn't make the roster, I believe.
Oh.
At least they couldn't find any information on him ever playing in the NFL, maybe other than preseason. Oh. But hey, he's young. He apparently is athletic, so maybe they bring something out of him. But I'm assuming he'll have opportunity to play because there's not really anybody else so far, anyway.
Well, not to move on to a different position, but I had to ask Dan because I know he was very upset by the fact that Mitchell Trubisky got signed by the Steelers. I know he was really bummed. I know he thought he was possibly going to be our starting quarterback going into this year.
Yeah, I don't know how we're ever going to recoup from that lost opportunity of Mitch Trubisky leading the team. I don't know. I didn't get the whole thing. Really didn't see why it was such a hot topic, other than people were like the Shane Dable connection. So obviously the backup quarterback we can sign is Mitch Trubisky, who's never been good. And it's a backup quarterback. If Mitch Trubisky is going to beat out Daniel Jones, that's a real problem.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the whole Daniel Jones hive, saying, "Oh, we shouldn't get Mitch Trubisky and for competition. We can't start." It's if he starts, we shouldn't be looking at either of these guys. We need someone way better. Yeah. So the fact that he's gone and he's in Pittsburgh, that's totally fine with me. Maybe we'll sign someone else. There's a lot of other guys out there that are going to be equally mediocre.
Yeah. I think after we talked about it enough, and I've knocked it around in my head, Mariota I think would be the most interesting out of all of those guys, just because this is his last chance and he's really going to want to go for it, and if he stays healthy, he'll actually probably bring a bit of competition. So and Jones has not had it, let's be frank. So I think that would be cool. Whether or not that ends up happening, I don't even know what something like him would go for. What is that? Like a 5, 6, 7 mil a year kind of situation, or less?
I think more. I'm curious to see what Trubisky made. I guarantee you that's why he didn't sign on the Giants, because they didn't want to pay whatever. His agents were doing a really good job hyping him up too. You were hearing a lot of talk about, coaches and GMs thinking he was a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't care for Jones particularly, but Dan, you're 100% right. If Trubisky beats out Jones, then the Giants are in the same place they were. I'd rather just have a cool backup so that when Jones gets hurt, then the games are more interesting to watch. That's really where my head's at. And, honestly, I think Mariota could beat out Jones. I really do.
Yeah, which is fine.
I don't think that Jones is the answer at quarterback. He hasn't shown anything to be the answer at quarterback.
He's certainly not if he gets beat out by any of these guys.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of people on Twitter who disagree with all this, but at this point, talking about Jones I'm just ready to see what happens when the year starts, and if if this makes any sense at all, what the Giants are doing with him this year. But we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Other guys that we signed, guys. Robert Foster. How is that an exciting one for you?
To me, it's an interesting one. I remember he flashed a few times playing fantasy football. I guess like in 2018 or 2019. He was like prolific in like a handful of games. He scored a bunch of touchdowns. He's got interesting size, and he's costing us nothing. He's familiar with the system. We got CJ Board and and him. So that's low expense, decent, depth there, I think.
He must have some sort of special teams experience as well, I would imagine.
That's the only thing that's important on this team is special teams depth.
Well, no, we don't have. It's not the same head coach anymore. We're okay now.
I know. But I think it's just funny, like how devoid of news this really is to talk about with the Giants. But like we said, what are they going to do? I think you're going to see a lot of holes in this roster. You're going to see more guys get cut, and you're really going to look to the draft to try and fill those spots in. I mean, there's a lot that they need to do, and it's going to be tough this year. But I think with the coaching and some of the young guys, making leaps and the rookies coming in and getting prepared to do the same thing and maybe their next couple seasons after that or even in their rookie year, I'm remaining positive from here. I'm really looking forward to the draft because we're not going to do much else in free agency other than maybe pick up I think the Giants probably need to get a defensive tackle, maybe another interior offensive lineman. Maybe you see like a Bradley Bozeman or Ryan Bates, or if you need like an offensive tackle. I was seeing Riley Reef from Cincinnati, who's coming off IR. Could be a cheap deal there. He's pretty serviceable most of his career. Defensively, Austin Johnson just signed with the Chargers.
Yeah.
I think, I've seen Brandon Williams get thrown around a lot, who was on a down year from Baltimore, familiar in Wink Martindale's offense.
Wouldn't it be great to have BJ Hill on the team?
I was just about to say, there's this defensive tackle that's floating around out there now.
He just re-signed.
Oh,
3 years, $30 million.
Oh, good. Well,
great for him, man.
Yeah, he was a stalwart on that run stopping aspect of that line, so that was cool to see. Good for him.
So yeah, how many guys that walk from the Giants this year are going to make the Pro Bowl next year? Then, what do you think?
Probably all of them. You
think like Lorenzo Carter's going to have like 10 sacks somewhere? I could totally see it.
No, not him. I don't. It's just dire straits. I'm not really worried about letting go of anyone. Like I said,
no.
The upside in freeing us to do smart things with their money is way better than the what's it called, FOMO of what they could potentially do in a decent run organization. F all of them.
Cut the whole team.
Yeah.
Let me just do an expansion draft with this whole team right now. I'm ready.
Well,
I wonder if you cut the whole team, how much cap space you would have. You probably wouldn't be able to sign in the whole team. It would be highly doubtful.
No. But going back to what you said before, TJ, about how the less moves that we're going to see in the next couple of weeks, the more of a chance that this draft will just be infinitely more interesting. We're leading up to that, and let's see how much more hyped Malik Willis is going to get too. Someone's going to want to reach for him, and if any other quarterbacks floating around, and their stock rises, that just helps us, and I can't wait. I think what bothers me the most about the speculation of the draft now is the idea that no offensive linemen are going to be there even at 5 for us to take. I hate that, but
well, I think that idea is changing since the Jaguars shoring off their offensive line now. The Jets got who's the dude the Jets got?
They signed someone who's a good starter, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a really good starter. I can't believe I'm blanking right now.
Let me look it up.
Where is it? Anyway,
Laken Tomlinson.
Yeah, Laken Tomlinson.
Oh, yes.
Pro Bowler from 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he drafted by the Chargers? He's from North Carolina, right? I think he's been around for a while. Yeah,
it sounds right.
Anyway, so that bodes well. If they're going to devote huge contracts to these free agents, maybe they're less likely to take a guy with their top 5 pick.
Yeah.
I think the Jags came out and said they're going to draft Hutchinson, which may or may not be true, but why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if the big two, Neal or Ike Ignagnu, don't make it to our spot. And then that's like the dream opportunity of getting the blue chip offensive tackle and then trading down with the 7 spot to later in the first and grabbing, more of the mid-round draft equity to shore up every other spot on the roster that we need.
I love the idea of staying within the teens, trading to one of the teams in the mid to late teens and sticking right there, because you can. I mean, the 20s are cool too, but like I feel like there's someone's going to drop there that's just going to be prime.
Yeah, I think we've been talking about it all the time. It's like beating a dead horse, but the tippy top of this draft isn't that distinct from the rest of it. I think there's a lot of serviceable talent. Maybe it's not superstars, but good to like, upper level pros. Maybe not franchise guys, but like people that'll come in and contribute and be solid players. And that's what we need. We need a lot of those guys right now, especially in the offensive line. So taking a bunch of shots at some of these other offensive linemen in the second, third rounds, I think would be great. There's nowhere to go but up really from where we were last year.
Yeah. And you have to think, I know Carolina is going to make a big run at Watson, but if they don't get him and you're a quarterback hungry team, you have to think about trading above them at 5 to get Malik Willis or whoever you're in love with. I know that's not a big quarterback class, but teams always are going to reach for quarterbacks because you have to. I mean, maybe the Giants draft him at 5. Who knows? But like, to me, I would love to trade out of either of those picks. I think 5 is a little more likely just in terms of the trade partners you might have for the players available then. That could occur at 7 as well. But
I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh makes a run at him too. I don't think they want to start Mitch Trubisky if they don't have to.
I don't know. The latest that I saw is one of the main reasons why he decided to go there is that they gave him a really good idea that
they gave an idea that they don't have a quarterback.
Well, no, that he has every opportunity to be the starter, and he didn't necessarily have that if he came to the Giants, so it made sense for him.
If he could beat out a rookie.
I mean, it's harder to beat out Daniel Jones than Mason Rudolph, is what you're saying? If Mason Rudolph is still on the team, whoever.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so too. Maybe not though.
Yeah.
Should be
Daniel Jones isn't an unmitigated racist, so we got that going as far as we know.
Who is?
He's not. Daniel Jones isn't.
So I was about to say. I was like, we're really speculating on some weird stuff right now.
Yeah, I don't think Rudolph would do well in New York.
I mean, news is slow, but not that slow.
Yeah.
So I hate that one account on Twitter that is just all the lies about the Giants.
Wesley Steinberg or whatever his name is. No, I think it's hilarious because he gets everybody.
He gets everybody. I know. I had to unfollow it because I kept like getting, notifications on my screen and being like,
what?
There was one today of finally, after how many years of being out of the league, Colin Kaepernick is looking to sign with the Giants. And it's just like, oh God, everyone's head would explode.
At what point does that guy just, stop trying? No one's going to sign you, dude.
He's working out like crazy still.
He's been doing that every year. He had a tryout that was like sponsored by the NFL that he didn't go to.
I mean the more he does it, the more he makes that thing live on. That being shunned out of the league. If he's not going to get in the league, at least he's keeping it in the conversation, reminding people of how stupid it is.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, we're talking about him right now. So
exactly.
Yeah. I just, it's about time though. It's about time for him to realize that.
Hang him up.
Yeah, you're never going to get signed, dude. I'm sorry. You got blackballed, but that's just how things go,
Well, what does he do? What does he do from here?
He buys a team, man. He buys a team.
He has the money?
No, but he could be a partner. He could find someone. Him and Nike could go buy a team.
What was the one? Kanye and Antonio Brown were going to buy a team together. So what? Kanye would own 99% and Antonio Brown would own 1% because he has a fraction of the amount of money that Kanye West has. Like,
also, that's 3 episodes in a row we're mentioning Kanye. I think we have to stop.
Good call. Good call. That's rough. Anything else tonight, guys?
No.
No, I don't think. I mean, Wednesday it'll get a little more interesting. We'll get some more. Well, actually, no. Let me bring this up because I thought it was interesting. Why was Glowinski officially signed? It was on the Giants Instagram like a couple hours ago. Like we signed him. Is he one of those free agents that like you could do that prior to the opening?
I thought
Well,
free
all
agency
these guys
started
are
at a
making-
certain
yeah.
time of day today, right?
Okay. All right, I missed out on the timing of it. Okay, no doubt. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't. There's a lot of intricacies about
Yeah, that's what I
the
was
NFL. I
confused
don't
about.
get to. So, I mean,
Just be a professional, Colin, from now on.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Wow, you didn't do your
Yeah.
research.
Yeah, maybe they should send us the vegetable subscription food from now on. Yeah.
Do you want me to get my dad
Purple
to call
carrot.
you to tell you to do your own research?
Yeah.
No.
Do your research.
Yeah. Have you? You didn't do your. How many YouTube videos did you watch today? Not enough.
Yeah.
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 All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. Please follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us directly on Twitter at BBU Podboys with a Z. Pigskin Podcast Network at Pigskin Podnet. Download the DraftKings app. Use promo code TPPN. Don't forget to use those state-specific gambling responsible resources that I rattled off for 45 minutes in the middle of this pod. And don't forget to check out Purple Carrot, purplecarrot.com. Nice vegetables. Colin really liked it. That's all that matters to me. Have a good night.
Colin, what can you tell me about no-fly zones?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that pants?
What?
Huh?
No-fly zones, like everyone's experts on no-fly zones because of what's going on in Ukraine.
Oh, yeah. Pop culture.
Guys,
I thought you were
come
doing
on.
like a calico cut jeans thing.
Yeah, sorry. I got to do my research.
Yeah, so Matt,
All right,
a
well-
callback.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. It's just kind of slow, I guess.
Yeah.
No, whatever. We're gonna just cut this at the end. Cut this
Yeah,
whole part out.
This is
I thought we were
this is
cutting
not
this
part of this. This is not part of this.
All right,
Also,
the
I'm gonna
callback.
stop recording.
also, the reason I said that is because